I did run a little bit long and forget to mention that. Here again, when we get to D, because this middle section is just so much meat on testing data and whatever fundamentals we're using for those SAT designs, this version ABCD works a little different for the first grader. Again, it's real fast hand on a page for the teacher version of make an exercise that will key and help maybe if with respect to this system, if you're gonna do that, gives you to where this starts to come into okay, so this is kind of multiplication, but I'm in D, addition to subtraction testing, really spending that one, two, three, four, five, six, seventh, and eighth week as if it were for us to teachers to then do that, because otherwise it's still low end. Might kick you by the word problem, I'm miswording it, but for the most part, we're going to easily adults figure that out. 0 or 2 10 and 0 ones for 20, right? It's not something you use every day, but it's a way to analyze and keep things going for recognition. That, again, may not key the best SAT score or assessment value. Addition of have fact families is going to be a much more in-depth topic on how I write it out for a teacher's manual training them. Let's get some case studies of good teacher designs that kept good dot plots and more than just grading against their own system, could be able to understand that and therefore be able to truly recognize it's not a parroting but a real awareness of at an AI level, Kids Sunshine dot plot, and it's moving when protobated in any form of what it does to elicit a response. And so this physical mousetrap, whatever form it may come into, yeah. Anyways, so fact family 1, adding and subtracting with 0 is a good time to put in here because realistically we didn't. It could go multiplication, but we're not really done. And we need to stretch out a little time ourselves in this tighter model to break it down. And B is -1 -1. And there's other variables right off of the first and second order that can really mess you up because of the 11th, 12th, 13th, 13th, and stuff like that, that it kind of breaks symmetry a little bit and gives you a Linden graph or Linden jar Tesla coil to operate its system. And what you did there gets it from the Tesla coil, that rabbit running the loop there with the rubber band, and can actually put it in the jar for you as far as a dot plot. And that proves that Billy can do that, or Betty can do that, way more efficiently if we're taking those timelines to core, adjust, and rip. Sort addition and subtraction problems is more of a recognition, just attacking it from the Carl Sagan, Feynman, Schroeringer's models of these. You'll see that they're kind of the same problem, maybe a little bit more complicated because we're into the 20 section now, really broken down at the way. And yeah, that's important. But realistically, I'm going to have a kid just in the house doing stuff. Sometimes they're more prepared. They've seen 100 before. They may not really understand it, but that's why trying to get them to read To Kill a Mockingbird. No, this is a cipher codex about things that an adult is laying that down. You'll see types of missing numbers all the time for the next week. That's something right in front of you, but all the combination of words, there you go. More word problems, more and less. How many more or less? Larger, smaller amounts. Mixed pack comparisons. So like any variance at that point in time, now that the kid's ready, and in wavelet frequency wave function. So you might want to attack it in that way, that I'll give you just the simpler adding problems with a simpler student that needs that level of actual enforcement time because it got them back on the track, like recognition for something else, but also a heavier hitting combination of tests for students that are already keying KT about early recognition and the ability to say, hey, they're definitely getting it. Let me get them a harder problem for this point in time, because we still got a ways to go about what kind of stupid hard test you could prep study for on a very complicated level. And so again, that brings me back down. Do I now go E and talk about it from the teacher's perspective of that point of view of the positive energy case studies, where again you're starting to dovetail that off or slow them down or moderate the course to whatever other actions, the spooky distance, sociology, psychology, so on and so forth. And again, the F students, which share the same detail. I actually do have a C, but it's more of, again, from the teacher's time-independent or time-dependent system of second foundings. Anytime you got to run a loop on one of those, you're trying to dot plot it, remember the heading, write it down. And testing points. Anywhere we're on a phase of that 14 points or whatever, you're going to be able to say, it seems like it works in my system, and just naturally, other than the argument, First or Second Amendment, you're getting a real big return out of it. A, B, double C, which should be D, E, actually. And again, that should pull that out. I'll fix that up real quick. I can actually do that by just changing a couple of letters. And that'll give me A, B, C, D, E, and F on this chart right here on the first page, nice and tight. And inside of those 14 group states where hopefully symmetry stays tight, but it's a plenty all right to go tearing it down.